A person's greatness is determined by their thoughts. This timeless truth has been proven repeatedly throughout history by the extraordinary lives of visionaries like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos. These individuals did not achieve success merely through luck or circumstances. They cultivated powerful, forward-thinking minds that turned dreams into reality. Napoleon Hill, in his world-famous book Think and Grow Rich, captured this idea perfectly when he wrote, "What do you think about? You become." Yet if this principle is so clear and powerful, why do millions of people around the world continue to struggle, feeling trapped in cycles of disappointment and unfulfilled potential? Do they fail to dream about a brighter future, or do they simply never learn to recognize the greatness hidden within themselves? Today's heartfelt story will uncover the answers to these important questions. It will teach you a profound life lesson that can transform how you see yourself and the world around you. Along the way, we will also learn several useful new English words and expressions to help strengthen your vocabulary and communication skills. Stay with us until the very end. I promise this story will be worth every minute of your time. In a large, bustling railway station in a busy city, there lived a poor beggar. Every single day, from early morning until late evening, he stood near the crowded platforms, holding out his worn, trembling hand and asking passing travelers for alms. The station was always alive with noise, loud announcements, hurried footsteps, cheerful chatter, and the distant whistle of steam engines. Yet amid all this energy and movement, the beggar felt invisible, trapped in a life of endless dependence. One bright afternoon, as golden sunlight filtered through the station's high glass roof, the beggar noticed a sharply dressed businessman stepping confidently onto the platform. The man wore a tailored dark suit, polished leather shoes, and carried a sleek briefcase. His posture was upright, his expression calm and purposeful. The beggar's eyes lit up with hope. This gentleman must be very successful and wealthy, he thought to himself. Surely he will give me a generous amount today. Gathering his courage, the beggar approached the businessman with his hand extended. But instead of reaching into his pocket, the businessman stopped, looked directly into the beggar's eyes with a kind yet firm gaze, and asked a surprising question. "Do you always only take from others? Tell me honestly, have you ever given anything to anyone in your life?" The beggar was completely startled. In all his years of begging, no one had ever spoken to him this way. His face flushed with confusion and embarrassment. "Sir," he replied quietly, "I am only a beggar. I survive by asking strangers for alms. I have nothing of value to give anyone." The businessman smiled gently, without any trace of cruelty or judgment. "If you truly believe you have nothing to offer," he sighed calmly, "then you also have no right to expect anything in return. I am a businessman. My entire life is built on the principle of fair exchange, giving value and receiving value in return. If you can offer me something meaningful, even something small, I will gladly give you something worthwhile. But if you offer nothing, I cannot, in good conscience, give you anything either." With those powerful words still hanging in the air, the businessman turned and boarded his waiting train. The doors closed, and the train slowly pulled away from the platform, disappearing into the distance. The beggar stood frozen in place, stunned and speechless. He kept replaying the conversation again and again in his mind. For the first time in years, someone had challenged his way of thinking without being rude or dismissive. The businessman had simply spoken the truth. That night, lying on his thin mat in a quiet corner of the station, the beggar could not sleep. The man's words echoed endlessly in his heart. "If you want to receive, you must first give. I have been begging for so long," he whispered to himself. "Yet people only give me a few coins out of pity. Maybe this is why, because I offer them nothing in return. No value, no joy, no reason to remember me." 2 full days passed. The beggar stopped asking for money. Instead, he sat quietly, lost in deep thought, observing the world around him more carefully than ever before. On the 3rd day, while resting in his usual spot near the tracks, he noticed something beautiful he had never truly appreciated before. A small patch of wildflowers blooming courageously beside the railway lines. Their petals glowed in vibrant shades of red, yellow, and purple, dancing softly in the gentle breeze. Their colors brought a rare spark of life and beauty to the otherwise gray and noisy station. Suddenly, a spark of inspiration struck him like lightning. What if I stop only taking, he thought excitedly. What if, instead of begging with empty hands, I offer these lovely flowers in return? Maybe people will feel happier. Maybe they will see me differently. Filled with fresh determination, the beggar carefully plucked a handful of the prettiest flowers. Arranging them neatly, he returned to his place and waited. When the next traveler dropped a coin into his palm, the beggar looked up with a warm, genuine smile and offered a bright flower in exchange. To his pleasant surprise, the woman accepted it with delight. "How beautiful," she exclaimed. "Thank you so much." Other passengers reacted the same way. Some smiled broadly, others thanked him warmly, and many gave more money than they originally planned. As the days turned into weeks, something truly incredible began to happen. More and more people started seeking out the beggar's spot. Word seemed to spread quietly among regular travelers. As long as he had fresh flowers to offer, the donations flowed generously. When his supply ran low and he had nothing to give, the gifts noticeably decreased. The pattern was clear. Human beings naturally enjoy receiving something of beauty and value in return. They don't just want to give out of pity, they want to participate in a meaningful exchange. One bright morning, several weeks later, the same well-dressed businessman appeared again on the platform. The former beggar's heart raced with excitement. He hurried over, holding several colorful flowers. "Sir," he said with confidence and respect, "today I have something valuable to offer you. If you give me some money, I will gladly give you these fresh flowers in return." The businessman's face lit up with a broad, approving smile. He handed the man a generous sum of cash and accepted the flowers. "You have truly understood the deep principle of exchange." Aside warmly, "Today, you are no longer merely a beggar. You have become a businessman in your own right." As the train carried the businessman away, the flower seller stood watching, his mind swirling with new thoughts. Am I really a businessman now? He wondered. After hours of quiet reflection, a powerful realization dawned on him like the rising sun. People are not giving me money because they feel sorry for me. They are paying for the beauty and joy I provide through these flowers. This is not begging. This is a real business. That very day, he made a bold and life-changing decision. He left the railway station behind, determined never to return as a beggar again. With the small savings he had gathered in his newfound mindset, he began building something greater. 6 months later, two well-dressed, successful-looking men happened to meet again at the very same busy railway station. They shook hands, politely. One of them looked at the other with a curious expression. "Do I know you from somewhere?" Ask it." The second man smiled warmly and replied, "Yes, we have actually met twice before, right here on this platform." The first man frowned, searching his memory. Then his eyes suddenly widened in complete astonishment. "Wait a minute. You're the beggar, the one I refused to give money to at first, and later bought flowers from." The former beggar laughed happily, his eyes shining with pride. "Yes, that was me. But today, I am no longer a beggar. I now own a successful flower business. I grow and sell beautiful flowers across the city, and I am traveling today to expand my business into new towns and markets." The businessman was deeply impressed and astonished. "That is truly incredible. What changed your life so dramatically?" The successful flower seller smiled and said with gratitude, "You taught me one of life's greatest and most powerful truths. We only truly receive when we first learn to give value to others. That day you spoke to me, I realized I was never really just a beggar. Deep inside, I was a businessman all along. I simply needed to change how I saw myself and start offering something meaningful to the world." The two men shook hands once more, now as equals and fellow entrepreneurs. Then they boarded their separate trains, each heading toward even brighter futures filled with purpose and possibility. Life is ultimately shaped by how we choose to see ourselves. If you constantly believe you are small, powerless, or unworthy, you will remain trapped in that limited reality. But the moment you recognize your inner potential, embrace the spirit of giving, and begin creating value for others, you unlock the door to true greatness. Your thoughts are the seeds of your future. When you change your mindset from one of lack and dependence to one of abundance and contribution, your entire world begins to transform. Never limit yourself with small thinking. See yourself as strong, capable, creative, and successful. Because when your thoughts change, your actions change. And when your actions change, your destiny changes too. If you enjoyed this inspiring story, please give it a thumbs up, share in the comments what lesson touched you the most, and pass it along to friends and family who might need encouragement today. See you in the next uplifting story.